3 years. In just 3 years, America witnessed one of the most aggressive rent surges in modern history. From the glass towers of Manhattan to the sun-soaked apartments of Phoenix, rent prices climbed without mercy. Across every city, the numbers on the lease went up hundreds, then thousands more each month. And the people who once called those places home started packing their bags. Landlords became the new kings of the economy. They held the power to decide who stayed and who had to go. One email, one price notice could change the fate of an entire family. In Miami, people paid rent with their life savings. In Austin, 700-square-foot apartments were priced like gold. And in New York, a tiny studio became a luxury dream. Then that dream cracked. By 2025, that power is collapsing. The towers that once glowed through the night now stand half dark. Rooftop pools reflect an empty sky. And down the hallways, footsteps echo into silence, no tenants left to hear them. Developers built too much, investors borrowed too big, and renters have finally reached their limit. Across America, the balance of power is shifting. Rents are falling. Incentives are back. The landlords who once dictated the market are now begging to fill their units. The empire that seemed untouchable is now collapsing. This isn't just a story about rent. It's a story about power, about greed, and about a cycle America thought it had escaped. Tonight, we count down the top 5 U.S. cities where the rental empire is cracking, where the brightest skylines echo with emptiness, and where, for the first time in a decade, the renters are the ones in control. 5. Dallas, Texas. The Sunbelt Mirage. The city that thought it could never slow down finally has. For nearly half a decade, Dallas was untouchable, the symbol of America's southern boom. Between 20 and 2023, it became the beating heart of the Sunbelt dream. Corporate relocations poured in like a flood. Tesla, Toyota, and dozens of tech startups made Dallas their new home. Financial hubs rose from the prairie, and glass towers spread across the horizon like monuments to ambition. For a moment, it felt unstoppable, cranes painting the skyline, rents jumping by the month, and investors celebrating a new Texas gold rush. But in 2025, the mirage begins to fade. The numbers tell a colder story, rents down nearly 9% year over year. More than 25,000 new units flooding the market, too much, too fast. In uptown luxury apartments that once filled overnight now sit half empty. In Plano, the lights in glass towers still shine, but the reflection is hollow. The skyline still gleams, but those towers have become half-empty mirrors, beautiful from afar, uncertain up close. Developers who once boasted no vacancies are now offering 3 months free covered parking, even prepaid utilities just to fill a floor. Leasing offices, once crowded with eager tenants, now echo with the hum of air conditioners and nervous sales reps scrolling through empty spreadsheets. The frenzy has cooled, replaced by quiet desperation. And the pressure doesn't stop at lower rent. Insurance premiums have tripled across Texas. Property taxes have followed. For many landlords, the math no longer works. They're bleeding cash month after month, trapped between rising costs and shrinking returns. Smaller investors, those who bought during the 2021-2022 peak, are falling first. Some have converted units into Airbnbs, hoping tourism could save them. But it didn't. Demand dried up, and those once proud condos now sit vacant, curtains, drawn dust, gathering on for rent, signs that no one stops to read. At night, Dallas still looks like a promise, a city of light energy and ambition. Drone shots show a skyline glittering under the Texas stars. But closer to the ground, reality feels different. Empty parking lots where tenants once parked their dreams. Silence in hallways once filled with laughter. the sound of prosperity, fading into an echo. Dallas built for prosperity, but forgot affordability. And when luxury outgrows logic, even Texas runs out of gas. 4. Miami, Florida, paradise on fire. The ocean's still blue, the skyline's still gold, but behind the glitter panic spreads. For years, Miami was the postcard of the American dream: sun-drenched beaches, neon nights, palm trees swaying over the promise of endless wealth. During the pandemic boom, the city became a playground for billionaires, crypto kings, and remote workers fleeing the cold and the taxes of the North. Between 20 and 2, rents exploded by more than 60%. Luxury towers rose like glass palms, each competing for the title of most exclusive. Locals watched as the city they built became a showroom they could no longer afford to live in. But in 2025, the tide has turned. Average rent has dropped 11%, the sharpest fall Miami has seen in over a decade. Buildings that once had waiting lists are now whispering silence. And landlords, they're bleeding out. Insurance premiums have tripled. HOA fees, the lifeblood of every high-rise, have surged as buildings scramble to meet new safety standards after the Surfside condo collapse. Concrete inspections, 40-year recertifications, waterproofing, structural audits, all mandatory, all expensive. Landlords who once bragged about their profit margins are now writing checks they can't cash. Step onto Brickell Avenue and the shimmer feels deceptive. Billboards still promise luxury living by the bay, but behind those mirrored facades are units sitting dark for months. On South Beach, you'll see a balcony overlooking turquoise water. Empty chair, sea breeze, and a torn banner that reads, "Luxury for lease." The city's beauty remains, but the confidence is gone. Then came the second wave: Airbnb saturation. Thousands of short-term rentals that once catered to tourists are flooding back into the long-term market, desperate to find tenants. But demand isn't keeping up. The result? Oversupply, empty units, and a sharp drop in nightly rates that's crushing small investors. What was once easy money has become dead weight. Maintenance costs rise, tourism softens, and the dream of passive income now feels like an anchor dragging owners underwater. And overseas, the panic is spreading too. For decades, Miami thrived on foreign cash investors from Venezuela, Argentina, Russia, and Europe poured millions into ocean view condos. But not anymore. Rising property taxes, extreme weather, and endless special assessments have scared them away. The hurricanes aren't just physical, now they're financial. And for the first time in years, even the rich are walking away. At sunset, Miami still looks perfect, a golden horizon, yachts slicing across Biscayne Bay, and towers glowing like molten gold. But look closer, and you'll see what's really burning, not the skyline, but the balance sheet. Even paradise has bills to pay, and in 2025, Miami's beauty can't cover its balance sheet. 3. Boise, Idaho. The Great Unwinding. The pandemic's golden child is now the orphan of the market. When the world locked down, Boise opened up. It was the perfect escape: mountain views, clean air, friendly faces, and rent that felt like a secret. Remote workers from California, Oregon, and Seattle packed their laptops and dreams heading north to start over. They came with cash offers, big salaries, and big expectations. From 2023, rents shot up more than 60%. The city that once prided itself on affordability became the poster child of a new migration wave, a boom so sudden it felt like destiny. But in 2025, that dream has unraveled. The same people who flooded in are now quietly leaving. Tech jobs dried up. Remote contracts ended, And the cost of living, once Boise's selling point, has turned against its own residents. Average rent is down 13%, but even that feels too high for locals whose paychecks never caught up. Those shiny downtown apartments, glass balconies, quartz kitchens, rooftop fire pits stand half empty, waiting for tenants who aren't coming back. Drive through the city today, and the signs of the unwind are everywhere. Half-built condos line the streets, their skeletons wrapped in faded plastic. Materials sit idle construction, paused until further notice. A tilted billboard near the highway still reads, "Welcome to Boise's new frontier." The paint cracked the corner, sagging, as if even the sign is too tired to keep believing. In a nearby cafe, the espresso machine hisses once, then goes quiet. The owner counts coins, sighs, and flips the sign to closed early. Across town, small investors who bought at the peak are watching their spreadsheets bleed red. They were promised a boom town. Instead, they got a ghost town with luxury pricing. A radio hums in the background, a local news voice fading in. Another downtown project delayed indefinitely as developers reassess market conditions. The words hang in the air, echoing across empty streets. Boise's skyline still glows at sunset golden against the mountains, beautiful, fragile, and uncertain. But beneath that glow lies a truth that every boomtown eventually learns: the higher the rise, the harder the landing. Boise wanted to be the next Austin, but forgot every boomtown eventually wakes up. San Francisco, California. The ghost of innovation, once the future of the world, now a monument to what happens when dreams overstay their lease. For decades, San Francisco wasn't just a city, it was an idea. The birthplace of the digital revolution, the capital of innovation, the place where billion-dollar dreams were built out of coffee shops and garage code. From the Golden Gate to Market Street, ambition was currency, and rent was the price of belonging. People paid it gladly, because here the future was being written in real time. But in 2025, the script has changed. Average rent is down 15%. Vacancy rates have shattered every record. Towers that once gleamed with life are now only 60% full. Downtown's heartbeat, once a constant rhythm of footsteps, startups, and street musicians, has turned into a whisper that echoes through empty streets. The remote work revolution, once a temporary fix, is now permanent. Thousands of tech workers who once filled these high-rises now code from kitchens in Nevada and Texas. The great migration of talent that built this city has reversed, and the city hasn't recovered. The coffee shops that once buzzed with pitches and ideas now sit quiet chairs, stacked espresso machines cold. And then came the second blow: perception. News headlines of crime, homelessness, and disorder scared away what was left of the renter base. Young families moved out. Small businesses gave up. Restaurants closed one by one, and art galleries, once the soul of Soma, went dark. In a city that once created the future, the present now feels like a ghost town. Fly a drone over downtown San Francisco today, and the view tells the story better than numbers ever could. The glass skyline still reflects the Pacific light, but the streets below look hollow. A for-lease banner flaps in the wind next to a pile of old startup flyers, faded logos, forgotten dreams. The wind carries them down Market Street like paper ghosts, remnants of an age that believed innovation could outlive reality. Meanwhile, landlords are trapped. Property taxes and maintenance keep rising, but refinancing is impossible. The banks won't touch buildings that stand half empty. What was once an empire of investment has become a web of debt, and so the lights stay on not for the tenants, but to keep the illusion alive. At night, San Francisco still glows like a city of stars, but if you listen closely, there's no pulse, only the hum of memory. A place once defined by possibility now feels like an echo of itself. San Francisco didn't just lose its tenants, it lost its story. New York City, The empire of exhaustion. Even empires need rest, and New York is finally catching its breath. For generations, this city was unstoppable, a living machine fueled by ambition, sleepless nights, and dreams too big to fit anywhere else. Manhattan was the center of the universe. Brooklyn was its heartbeat. Queens, its voice. Every light in every window meant motion, money, and momentum. New York didn't slow down. It didn't forgive. It only rewarded those who could keep up. But in 2025, even the empire of rent has grown tired. Manhattan's average rent has fallen 12%. Brooklyn and Queens, 15%. For the first time in decades, renters hold the upper hand. Landlords who once demanded bidding wars now offer 2, even 3 months of free rent. Some throw in free kitchen upgrades, bathroom remodels, even gym memberships. Anything to fill the silence. The reason runs deeper than numbers. Layoffs in finance, media, and tech have thinned the city's lifeblood, the working professionals who powered its endless demand. Midtown office towers sit half-lit skyscrapers that once hummed with energy now echo like empty shells. On Wall Street, bonuses have shrunk. In Soho, boutique windows display luxury goods that no one is buying. The so-called ultra-wealthy, the class that once made this city glitter, have quietly pulled back. Even Billionaires Row, that mile of mirrored glass once reserved for the gods of wealth, is offering discounts. And yet, the illusion remains. Walk through Times Square tonight, it's still crowded, neon, still blinding. But look closer. The buildings towering above are dark, their windows lifeless. Behind the billboards, silence hums. Somewhere in the wind, a torn rental contract drifts down the street, caught in a gust, spinning, flipping, before landing in a puddle. A small sound, almost nothing, but it tells the story of a city learning its limits. For the first time in living memory, New York feels human again. The hustle has softened. The noise has faded to a rhythm you can breathe with. The landlords, once untouchable, now negotiate. The renters, once desperate, now decide. At night, the skyline still gleams proud and stubborn against the darkness. But beneath that glow, something extraordinary is happening. A pause. A deep, overdue exhale from a city that forgot how to rest. The city that never sleeps is learning to pause. And for the first time, renters are the ones writing the rules. Across America, the rental empire is trembling. The skyscrapers still stand, but their confidence does not. Developers built luxury glass towers, infinity pools, and marketing slogans about limitless living. But families wanted livable, a place to breathe, to raise children, to belong. Investors chased returns, flipping homes like stocks, treating shelter as a spreadsheet. But workers wanted roots, something steady, in a world that never stopped spinning. And now, the reckoning has arrived. Not just in numbers, not just in falling rents, but in meaning. Every for-lease sign is a confession. Every empty apartment, a quiet reminder that a city isn't made of profit margins, it's made of people. You can't build belonging out of concrete. You can't price out humanity and expect the lights to stay on. For the first time in a decade, tenants are back in control. They're negotiating, walking away, demanding fairness, and getting it. The question isn't how low rent will fall. It's how long America will take to remember the balance between growth and humanity. Ambition and empathy, towers and homes. Because in the end, every economic boom ends the same way, with a mirror. And in that reflection, we see what we've built and what we've broken. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell us which city do you think will fall next. Because as always, the numbers tell the story.